Hello everyone. Welcome to another lecture on reasoning ability and problem solving. In today's lecture, we will start with a new topic called non-verbal reasoning based on diagrams. And in this lecture, we will discuss all the types of questions that can come into your competitive exams from this particular topic. Now, what do you actually mean by non-verbal reasoning based on diagrams? So, as the name suggests, diagrams, or you can also call it figures, that means you have to solve reasoning questions based on the diagram. For example, if you remember, we did a topic called object and shape analogy. Similarly, we also did a topic called logical grid. These can also be called matrix. Okay, these topics we have already done. These topics are part of non-verbal reasoning. Non-verbal reasoning basically means that we deal with diagrams and figures. We identify the patterns given in the figure. Okay, so what we do is we interpret them and we analyze visual information. So when we deal with visual information, that is called non-verbal reasoning based on diagrams. Now, these are the types of questions. So there are 9 types of questions that can be formed from non-verbal based on diagrams. 9 types, let us understand each one. Okay, so series completion. So you have done series completion like this. In problem solving and analysis, we did a topic in non-verbal reasoning called image series completion. So basically, for example, I have 5 images with me. Okay, sorry, 4 images with me. This is a, let's say A, then B, then C, then D. This is an image, correct? So clearly looking at this, if I have to find the next image, I can see that the alphabets are increasing. So the next image will be E. Simple. This is series completion. Matrix is a logical grid kind of question. So if you get a grid like this, it could be in a table form or it could also be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8 to 10. This is a logical grid question. Basically, 1 plus 2 gives me 3. Similarly, 4 plus 5 gives me 9. And 8 plus 2 gives me 10. So this is a basic logical grid question. Okay, these are also called matrix based question. So matrix or logical grid, both means the same thing. Clear? Then we have mirror and water images. Mirror and water images, what do you mean by that? So let's say I have a mirror over here. This is my mirror. Okay, let us suppose this is a mirror. And over here I have a B. This is written. So how will it appear in the mirror? So if you know, in mirror and water, inverted images appear. Correct? Just take a piece of paper, write something on it and put it in front of a mirror. You will see that a mirror or a water reflection will always give you inverted image. So in the mirror, the image will look something like this. It will be a inverted image. So if you have a, then in the mirror it will be the same. Because if you invert A, it will be the same. But B will look something like this. Similarly, if you have a R, it will look like this in the mirror. Okay. So this is mirror and water images. Then you have embedded figures. What do you mean by embedded figures? Embedded figure means that if I have an object like this, or if I have this, and I am given 4 options. So my first option looks something like this. Second option looks something like this. Third option looks like this. And fourth option looks like this. Okay. And I have to find out this image will be embedded. Embedded means this image will be inside which of the following images. So clearly a circle will be inside this image. So this is how you solve questions on embedded images. Then paper folding and cutting. Paper folding and cutting, again easy. Paper folding and cutting. So let's say we have this paper. Okay. And then we fold it into half. We had a paper, we fold it into half and we cut this part. So this part we cut. So when I open up my paper, so this was the top of my paper. When I folded it, it came to the bottom. This is into half. And then I cut this paper. So when I open it again, what will be the cut part? My cut part will look something like this. If I open the folded paper, this area, this portion will be cut. So this is paper folding and cutting. Okay, then dice and cubes. Dice and cubes again easy. So this is your dice. Dice means what? If this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. Similarly, if adjacent to this we have 4, below this we have 5, we have to find the number that will come on this side. So this side clearly the number will be 6. Very simple questions on dice and cube. Then counting figures. What do you mean by counting figures? Counting figure means that if I have a square, okay, if I have something like this is my image. I have to find how many squares are there in this image. So any person will say 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 squares are there. Is it correct? No, because you forgot that this is also a square. This is also a square. So in total we have 5 squares. And if I have to count rectangles, then it will be different. If I have to count rectangles, square is a rectangle. So this will be 1, right? These 4 will be there. So 5 rectangles plus if this is the image. So 5 square mean 5 rectangle. Now if you look at this image, this is also a rectangle. So plus 2. And if you look at this image, this is also a rectangle and we have 2 images like this. So plus 2 again. Clear? So in total we have 5, 2 plus 2, 9 rectangles. So this is the type of question that you get in counting figures. Similarly, we have odd one out. Odd one out basically means that 5 or 4 images will be given to us and we have to find the pattern and we have to identify which of the following image does not belong. Clear? And Venn diagram again easy. Venn diagram we learned in syllogisms. So we'll use the same concept. So these are the all 9 types of questions that can be formed in non-verbal reasoning. Now let us look at type number 1, which is series completion. So 3 images are given to us and we have to find the 4th image. So over here I can see that there are 1 arrows, 2 arrows, 3 arrows. So clearly in the 4th image we will have 4 arrows. Correct? Now over here towards the end of the arrow we have something like this. We have a diamond and over here we have a triangle. So our arrows will be looking like this. This will be how our arrows will be looking, a diamond and a triangle. So a diamond and a triangle is given in option number 2, option number 1, option number 3. So option number 4 is eliminated. This is the elimination approach. Correct? Okay. So now we have to look at the direction. So over here the arrow is facing towards the south. If you remember this chart, north, south, this was west and this was east. This was the basic diagram for directions. So this arrow is facing south, then this arrow is facing west, then this arrow is facing north. So clearly the next arrows will be facing east, all the arrows. So all the arrows are facing east in option number 3. So option number 3 will be your correct answer to this question. So this is a very simple question. These are the types of questions that you get in series completion. Okay. Then we have the next type, which is matrix based question. Matrix based questions mean what? Matrix based mean that we are given 3 or 4 kind of grids. These are also called logical grids question. Okay, logical grid can be of 3 types. Either you can get a 3 into 3 grid, or you can get a 4 into 4 grid, or you get a 4 into 3 grid. 3 into 3 grid means 3 rows and 3 columns. 4 into 4 means 4 rows and 4 columns. Okay. And 4 into 3 again can be of two types. Either there will be 4 rows and 3 columns, or there will be 4 columns and 3 rows. Either of the following. So over here in this question, I can see row 1, row 2, row 3 and row 4. So 4 rows are there, and how many columns? Column 1, column 2 and column 3. 3 columns are there. So this is this type of question. 4 rows into 3 columns. Now, how do we solve these type of questions? How do we look at these type of questions? So when I look over here, I can see that my first column is 5, 6 and 3 and then 48. This is my column number 1. Similarly, my column number 2 is 7, 8, 4 and we have to find the missing element. And my column number 3 is 9, 2, 1 and then 20. So if I look at these columns, I can see that these numbers 48 and 20 are significantly bigger than these numbers. Correct? 20 is so much more bigger than this number 5, 6 and 3. Similarly, 20 is very big than 9, 2 and 1. So I can assume that certain operations are being carried on in row 1, 2 and 3 to obtain the number in row 4. This is how you approach a question on logical grid, or also known as matrix based questions. Now, let us solve. So, let me give them numbers. So, again, one more thing. Logical grid or matrix based questions can be solved in two ways. Either we can solve them vertically or we can solve them horizontally. So here, since these numbers are big, I can see that we are solving them vertically. But sometimes this number is bigger than these two numbers. That means we are solving them horizontally. So two type of possibilities are possible. Now, here let us see. So 5, 6, 3 and 48. Let us give them number A, B and C and D. Alphabets. This is A row, B row, C row and D row. Okay, so I can see 6 into how much? 6 into 8 will give me 48. Similarly, 2 into 10 will give me 20. Now, if I add 5 and 3, I will get 8. And if I get 9 and 1, I'll get 10. Correct? So, I can see that A plus C, and when I multiply it by B, I'll get D. This is my logic that I have used in my logical grid. Now let us check for column 1, column 2 and column 3. We have to find the missing element in column 2. Correct? So for column 1, let us see. Column 1 is 5 plus 3 into 6. So 5 plus 3 is 8 into 6, which is equals to 48. So this is correct for column 1. For column 3, it will be 9 plus 1 into 2. So 9 plus 1 is what? 10 into 2 will give me 20. So this is correct for column 3 as well. Now let us check for column 2. For column 2, it will be 7 plus 4 into 8. So 7 plus 4 is what? 11, and 11 into 8 will give me 88. So 88 will be the correct answer, which is option number 3, 88. Okay, clear? Let us move on to, here you can see the solution. 6 into 5 plus 3 gives us 48, 2 into 9 plus 1 gave us 20 and 8 into 7 plus 4 gave us 88. Okay, now third is mirror and water images. So in both the cases I told you that we have a inverted image. These type of questions involve inverted images. Now, select the correct mirror image of the given figure when the mirror is placed at AB. So, the mirror is over here. It is also given where the mirror is situated. Based on the mirror, the figure changes. For example, I have A, or I have something like this. Let's say the mirror is placed in these four positions. So, over here, the reflection will be the same, because if you invert A like this, the reflection is same. But over here, if we are talking about this mirror, the reflection will give me something like this. Correct? The reflection will give me something like this. Similarly, if the mirror is placed here, the reflection will give me something like this, inverted images. So this is how you solve questions on mirror and water images. You have to make sure what is the position of the mirror as well. That also matters. So over here, the position of mirror is this AB. Now let us look at this. So we have to find the inverted image. Now, if A and B is over here, the square will remain the same. We'll get the same square in the mirror image. Correct? Then we'll get the same circle. This will not change. The circle will be the same. Correct? Then if I look over here, there is a small triangle. So this I'll get over here, a small triangle. Then beneath this we have something like this. So I'll have something like this. And if my arrows or if my lines are going like this, that means in the inverted image my lines will be something like this. Okay. Then again I look over here. There's a small triangle. So I'll get a small triangle over here in my image. Correct? And there is a segment like this over here. If the lines move like this, in the mirror image the line will be like this. So my lines will look something like this. This will be my mirror image. So going option by option. Option number 2 is definitely eliminated because this is inverted. This will not be inverted. Correct? Now, option number, if you look over here, which is 4 and 3 and 1. In this, we have a small something like this. This is much larger over here. Over here, this segment is starting after this segment. Correct? Over here, this segment is starting before this segment. So, option number 4 is also eliminated. We are following what? We are following the elimination approach. Okay? Then if you look at option number 1 and 3. Over here again, the direction of the lines will be like this and not like this. So, option number 3 will be eliminated and option number 1 will be the correct answer. Now, type 4 is embedded figures. Embedded figure means this figure is embedded certain way, in certain figure, and we have to find that figure. Now, rotation is not allowed. So, if this is north facing, it will be north facing in these figures as well. Now, if you look over here, we have a certain image like this. But this, if I draw it, this looks like this because rotation is not allowed, and this looks like this. So, this is definitely not embedded. Option number 1 is eliminated. Okay. Option number 2, I cannot see anywhere where this could be embedded. So, option number 2 is also eliminated. Option number 4, I can see an image like this. But again, this is very different from this image. Or, if I look at this image, this is also very different. So, option number 4 is also eliminated. Now, let us look at option number 3. In option number 3, I can see this image. This image looks exactly same like this. So that means this is definitely embedded over here. So option number 3 will be the correct answer. Clear? So type 5 is paper folding and cutting. How to solve these type of questions? Over here we had a sheet of paper. We folded it in half. Then we further folded into another half and then we made these incisions. So we cut this part out. Now when we open the paper, how will this look? So just answer with me, okay? So if I open this like this, so it was folded this way, so it will open this way, correct? If I open it like this, my incisions will look something like this, correct? My incisions will look something like this. And if I open it further, this was folded into half. So this was This will be unfolded this way. So if I unfold it, my incisions or my cuts will look something like this. So this will invert. So I'll get this over here. Sorry, I'm not able to draw it very properly because these shapes are a bit tricky. But you get the idea. My incision will be something like this. So these incisions are given in which option? This is incorrect. They will not look like this. All these or three options are incorrect. Option 4 is the only correct answer. So these are your type 5 paper folding and cutting type of questions. Okay. In these type of questions, two things are to be remembered. Is first is the way the paper is folded. How the paper is being folded. If the direction of the paper folding is very important. And second is the incisions, the cuts. You have to pay proper attention that when you open a incision, it reverses. It is inverted on opening. Okay? In these type of questions. Okay? So this was type 5, paper folding and cutting. Now let us look at type 6, which is dice and cubes. So in dice and cubes, you can see that these three figures are given, which is the same dice. So same dice is shown in different positions. And we have to find the number on the opposite face of 2. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 5. This is 6, this is 4, this is 3, and this is 1, this is 5, this is 4. So this is given in the question. Now we have to find out the face which will be opposite to 2. So over here you can see that 5 and 1 are adjacent to 2. If this is 2, this is 1 and this is 5, they are adjacent to 2. So out of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 2 we have to find. So it is eliminated. 1 is also eliminated and 5 is also eliminated because these are adjacent. Now adjacent to 5. Now if you look at over here, we have 4, 6 and 3 adjacent to each other. Okay, we don't get any information. Now over here, 5, 1 and 4. These are adjacent to each other. So if 5 is here, 1 is here. If 5 is here and 1 is here, where will be 2? 2 is adjacent to both. So 2 will be over here. If 2 is adjacent to both, 5 and 1, 2 will be over here. Okay. And 5 is adjacent to both 6 and 3, which is given in figure number 2. So if 4 is adjacent to both 6 and 3, they will be over here. The position is not final yet. So the opposite face of 2 will be 4. So option number 1, 4 will be the correct answer. So these are your question on dice and cubes. Now let us discuss type 7 counting figures. So in this figure, we have to count how many triangles are there. Correct? So whenever you get a question like this, try giving them names. So I'll give this A, B, C. Okay. So in this A, B, C, I have D and then, or I can say I have D, then I have E, then F, and then let me name this O. Similarly, this point I have P. And this point I have, let's say Q, and this is R. Okay, so I have given them names. Now let me try to form a list. So over here I can see that AEF is a triangle. AEF. Similarly, AEO and AOF is also a triangle. So AEO and AOF. Similarly, I can see that ABD is a triangle and ADC is a triangle. So ABD is a triangle and ADC is a triangle. Now this is also a triangle. So ABC is also a triangle. ABC is also a triangle. Correct? Now over here I can say that ABQ is a triangle. ABQ is a triangle. Similarly, Q, B and C. This is a triangle. Q, B, C is a triangle. Okay. Now over here I can see that AFB is also a triangle. So AFB is another triangle. And I can see that ARQ is a triangle. This is a triangle. So ARQ is a triangle. And similarly ARB is a triangle. ARB is a triangle. So in all, these are the triangles that I can see in this image. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and 11. So total there are 11 triangles in this image. So option number 1, 11 is your correct answer. Now type 8, odd one out. So odd one out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 images are given to us and we have to identify the odd one out. Over here, I can see that in his eyes, he is facing towards the east. Both the eyes are facing towards the east. In this, I can see that one eye is facing south and one eye is facing north. So if it is like this is the shaded part, I am assuming that he is seeing towards the east. Over here, both the eyes are facing south. Over here, both the eyes are facing west. And over here, the both eyes are facing north. So clearly I can see only this image. The eyes are facing in different directions. So this image is given in option number 1. So option number 1 will be your correct answer. Last type, which is Venn diagram. Venn diagram, basically we are given certain words, painter, lawyer and singer, and we have to identify which of the following Venn diagrams show the relationship between these three words. So let us say we have painter, then we have lawyer, and then we have singer. Painter, lawyer and singer. Some people will be there, so I'm using a different pen, okay? Some people will be there that will be both painter and singer. This is represented by this portion. Now some people will be there that are both lawyer and singer. This is represented by this portion. And some people will be there that are both painter and lawyer, which is represented by this portion. Similarly, there will be some people who are very talented and that can paint, sing and be a lawyer, which is represented by this portion. So these are three professions that can overlap with each other. So our answer will be option number 1, this diagram. So this diagram truly represents the relationship between a painter, a lawyer and a singer. So this will be the correct answer. So in this lecture today, we discussed that there are 9 types of questions that can be formed using non-verbal reasoning, and we discussed each type with the help of a question. So this concludes today's lecture. Thank you.